These are indicators. These are red flags. Folks that are actively doing a podcast are going to have podcast posts. These are things you need to look for. These are things that a lot of folks don't know to go and look for, or they don't have the time, which is why you bring on someone like me to make sure that you have a barrier. Third thing, if you go and check that out and then all of that is kind of looking a little hazy, you're like, check out Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. If they don't have any, or YouTube, and YouTube as well. If they don't have any of those platforms filled up with interviews, red flag, no. Okay? Let's say you want to move on from that. They're going to pay you, right? They said they're going to pay you $4,000, $5,000, $8,000, whatever it is. Get the payment first. If they have not paid at least 50% of it, and they're asking, where can I send the payment? Okay? Here's the invoice. You should have an invoicing system for your talent, or you as the talent should have an invoicing system. If you do not, you need to set up something. What I recommend is that you have a Square Up. Now, I love Square Up. Their fees are kind of crazy. I'm gonna just put that out there, but it's an amazing tool. It does all the things and it really protects your accounts. Okay. Another platform that you can use is, all of them really. Stripe is another good one though. And there are several other payment processing platforms. Look for a payment processing platform. Send the invoice from a payment processing platform. Do not use Zelle. Do not use Cash App. None of those things. You don't know this person. You do not know these people. Do not use that stuff. Use a invoicing system that gets the talent paid at least 50% upfront. Then we move to, okay, now let's hop on a call or what have you. Or you can hop on a call beforehand, but they do need to turn their cameras on. And you also need to see where the person has done interviews before. You guys have to start vetting these folks. Stop just hopping on random calls where they ain't vetted. Some people are really, really busy, so they can't do but that's where you bring someone in like me, or a social media man, somebody that can go and vet these people for you. You need to have people. If you are in fact a talent, you need to have people. Okay, there's no use in you building up large audiences of 2 million, 3 million, 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, and you don't have people in place to place barriers in front of yourself. You should not be spending your time trying to vet people and do all this research and stuff. No, it's support folks like us that go and do those things for you. So when you hop on the call, the only thing you should be hopping on the call to do is do an interview. Okay, so want to make sure that's put out there. If you see that they haven't sent the payment and then your interview's tomorrow, you don't do interview, okay? You do not hop on call with nobody until they are fully vetted and you understand that. If they haven't sent a podcast to you to show you that they've been doing podcasts, if they haven't requested that you send in a photo, usually if someone is going to pay you this amount of money, they're going to ask you to send in a photo, sign a release form, tell also the criteria of the payment, right? Do you want me to post 1 time, 2 times, 3 times? Is it the interview only, the interview and social media posts? All these things. And a lot of people don't know this because they ain't been in the game long enough, right? So some people are just out here just doing podcasts, don't have any type of agreements in place. They don't have social media posts, they have social media, but they don't have agreements in place. They don't have ways to capture someone's photo. You should be filling out a full form and having an agreement between yourself and the podcaster of who owns the content, where the content's going to go, distribution, all of that good stuff. Right? Because if they're running ads to your content, then that's a different price than if somebody is just utilizing your content on their social media platform. If they want the social media podcast to be promoted by you, and then that's going to stay on your platform over time, long term, that's a different price than if they just want you to promote it for 24 hours. These are things that you guys need to know, and you need to integrate into the whole process of even accepting a podcast interview. Okay, so that's the next thing. If they are paying anything above, I would say $1,000, you need to have an agreement in place of this is what we're doing, this is where it's going to go, and this is where it's going to live, and we both agree. $1,000 or above, you should be having that conversation. If you're doing anything below $1,000 and you have a large audience, that's between you and whatever y'all doing, right? But you need to make sure you have those things in place. If you are doing an interview via Facebook, there's no reason to test a feed on Zoom. You can't technically even. All right. So they don't need access to your page to do a Facebook live stream. Usually the platforms that are recommended to do a live stream on that are the easiest because they go to multiple platforms, and usually podcasters want to use these platforms because they want them to go to multiple places. They're not just looking for it to go one place. The days of only doing a Facebook Live are gone. Now, folks do still do only an Instagram Live, but that, once again, does not require you to hop on Zoom. If they do not turn on their camera, another red flag. You tell them, hey, I need to see your face. You need to turn on your camera. If they refuse, that's a red flag. I've gotten a lot of slack for saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. If they have a free Zoom account, that's a red flag. Anybody that is in business in these days, if you are doing constant meetings and stuff, usually you have a paid Zoom. The majority, especially if you are doing podcasts. Now, if you're not doing podcasts and you're not you're not doing productions like that, I get it. You may not have one. But the majority of the folks, if they are requesting you to hop on a Zoom to test a Zoom stream, if they have a free account, red flag. You need to be like, I don't know about this, but you need to let me get that payment first, and then maybe we'll hop on a Zoom. Okay? But you need to have people in place that are going to have these conversations for you. Okay? So they don't need access to your Facebook page. None of it. What these folks have found is a loophole where all you have to do is open up Facebook Events Manager, which is a Facebook feature which will pay you via Facebook, basically through the Facebook page and through the Facebook events. You will get paid from the payment of the participants. Does that make sense? You can sell tickets to a live stream and then get paid from the audience using Facebook Events Manager. But that is not required for you to do a podcast interview. But they found the loophole so they can go through it, get access of your account, take over your whole account, delete your whole page. So there are pages with 3 million followers that have been deleted, completely gone, can't find them nowhere. They will go in, get the page, take the page off, take the names off the page, remove everything, remove access to you and everyone else that's connected to you, and take over your whole page and steal your whole entire audience. They are stealing audiences of 3 million, 400 million, 500,000, or 400,000, 500,000. Stealing complete audiences and then retargeting those audiences and then sending them elsewhere or doing something else with them. Okay? Be careful. Once again, no one needs, if they're doing a podcast interview, access to your page. Do not give them role permission. Do not give them events management position, role permission, events manager permission, or any permissions on your page. Now, Business Suite ads are something completely different. Business Suite ads are where you go into the back end of Business Suite and you click on a button to give access to someone to run ads through your page with your content. So they pay for the ads versus you paying for the ads. Completely different. You're clicking a button. They're sending a request to you and clicking a button. Totally different. That's okay. This other way that they're doing it, they have you go in and open up your page and then they can steal the whole thing from you. So I want you guys to be aware that this is happening and that it's out there, because apparently this has been happening for now a year or two and nobody's really talking about it. And yet all of these influencers and stuff are getting their pages stolen. Some of them are getting them back. Some of them aren't. So a couple of different podcasting platforms that folks can use in order to stream their podcast out to different platforms. Number one platform that people use is Zoom. Okay. The second platform is StreamYard. StreamYard is another really great platform that you can use. The third platform is called, so there's Zoom, there's StreamYard, there's Restream. Restream is another one. So Zoom, StreamYard, Restream. There is also Zencastr is another great one that you can use as well. Let's see. Skype is still around, but nobody really uses Skype, but it is still around. Riverside is another good podcasting platform. You can go live on Instagram, obviously. They do not need to have any of your back end information, none of that, okay? For either of these platforms, Instagram, Facebook, any of these, but those other platforms that I mentioned are all reputable platforms where they can stream to multiple platforms at once. Really take a step back and look at why someone wants to interview you and what the heck. Oh, and Be Live. Thank you, Kathy. And Be Live. Really take a step back and look at why someone wants to interview you. What's the benefit for them? This should be a win-win. Okay, if someone wants to interview you and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna pay you $5,000," and you ain't gotta do nothing, we just gonna pay you $5,000. No, they're paying you $5,000 for a reason. So they want access to your audience. They want access to